Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with setting Sudoku Adventure 900 by Rangsk. I haven't done this since Sudoku Adventure 300, but I didn't have time to make Puzzle 900, so I thought, hey, why don't I do another setting video? So we are going to set this together. This isn't a stream or anything, but I'm going to set this live. I have no idea what I'm going to do coming into this. No ideas, and this is going to walk through, I guess, how I would approach setting a adventure level 6x6 puzzle. Here I am using F puzzles, but it is a highly modified F puzzles. This is not a secret way to modify it. This is just a bunch of extensions that I've made for it, user scripts that change the website itself, plus a solver that I wrote that you can run natively that it connects to. A lot of people these days are using why am I blanking on it? Sudoku Maker, which is a perfectly valid app to use, but I really like my tool set that I made. I'm a little biased, so I'm going to use that today. But yeah, so I will link in the description instructions on how you can install all of that if you would like to. All right, so what we have here is I do have what feature on that I call true candidates. And so what this is going to do is it uses a brute force solver and it lets you know, hey, here's all of the digits that are available in each cell as we go. It's really important not to use this feature as a crutch. It is not a feature to guide your solve path, rather a feature to prevent you from, breaking the puzzle or letting you know when you've really restricted the puzzle and you can act on that, or maybe some interesting deductions that you may not have immediately noticed. So there's a lot of ways to approach this. A lot of people don't even turn on true candidates until they need to. I like to just set with it on. And so now the first thing we need to do is we need to come up with a constraint and an idea. And since this is 900, I'd like it to be about the number 9 in some way. Obviously 9 is not placeable as a digit unless we were to do, say, a mean mini, but I don't have tooling to create mean mini. So I want to do a standard constraint. Mean mini is where there are still 6 digits, but you don't know which digits from 1 to 9 are used. It's part of the solve process to determine which of the 6 digits from 1 to 9 are even placed. But we are not going to do that here. So I'm probably going to draw a 9 on the grid in some way. Zeros can be like some kind of circle-like constraint, or we could see 900 is really hard to draw fully in a 6x6. The other option is just not to make it 9 themed, but maybe what I can do is I can use clues that sum to 9. So one idea would be to do killer cages, and or I could do some other kind of sum. Why don't we start with killer cages? 9 killer cages can be pretty interesting. So, for example, if we were to place a 9 killer cage here, that doesn't actually restrict any digits, but there's only 3 ways to add to 9. You can do 1, 2, 6, you can do 1, 3, 5, or you can do 2, 3, 4. So there's 2 out of the 3 use the 1. And so we also can use the fact that, like, if I do a 9 cage like this, then these 3 are going to sum to 21 minus 9. Which is just going to be the other 3. Whatever digits were here, it's going to be the other 3. But, 21 minus 9 is 12. So these would add to 12. So we could use that, for example. Now, I'm going back to killer cages. Now, I think I should be able to just use Control-G to switch between givens and killer cages here. So if I draw something like this, now, before I put in the 9, and true candidates tells me what's going on, if I make this add to 9 as well, then what we've learned here is that we know the entire column adds to 21. We know these add to 12. So these 2 would add to some amount, and then this would add to 12 minus that. So when I fill in the 9 here, that does restrict this to 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. And so we can think about why those specific digits are used. But basically, these are going to add to like 1, 2, 6 is possible, right? So these could add to as little as 3. Now, if we did that, then we know the total is 12, so that would mean that these 2 would add to 9. Do these add to 9? No. What is the actual logic here? Oh, interesting. So yeah, so this can't be a 9, right? So we can't have these add to 3. So if this was 6, then that means that these add to 12 minus 6. These would add to 6. And so that would make this need to be a 3 to get to 9. So if I put a 6 here, that makes that a 3. If I put a 5 here, that'll make that a 4. And if I put a 4 here, that'll make that a 1. And that's why 3 doesn't work, because that would make these two add to 12 minus 3, which is already 9, and this wouldn't have a value. So these are connected in a way now. And so that might be like a deduction we want to work off of, which is that these two are connected. That's one of my main setting philosophies, is once we have an interesting deduction, we want to reward finding that deduction. So what we've learned is that the difference between these is 3. This is 3 less than this. And that's kind of the easy way to think about it, right? We've got this adding to 9, so this adds to 12, but this adds to 9, so this minus this has to be 3. This is 3 larger than that. And so now, I mean, I could just draw a 9 cage off of it if I'm doing 9s, or I could do a 9 cage like this, and that's going to eliminate, that's going to tell us the digit, right? Because it's going to tell us it's 4, 5, because the only ways to add to 9 are 4, 5, and 3, 6, but 3, 6 doesn't work, because that, because this would, so if you take a look, this, this can be 6, but it would make both of these 3, right? So that's kind of interesting logic. So let's make this add to 9. And so now we have this 4, 5 pair, meaning that this can't be 3 now. So we can reward the 4, 5 pair by forcing this to be a 1, 2, 6 9 cage. I wonder if I should do it from here, because that might be a little bit more interesting. So now I do my true candidates on. I noticed that some of my colors are getting a little bit lighter bluish. Right now I have my setting as the solution cap of 10,000 for the true candidates. That's just for the coloring, the count. So we are down to fewer than 10,000 solutions. If I did a solution count right now, there's 26,000 solutions now. So not less than 10,000. But if I were to place the 6, there would be fewer than 10,000. Now this does adjust based on what the max solution count is for a digit. So basically the way you can think about this is the lighter the blue, if we were to place that digit, that makes the puzzle more restricted than the darker blues. And if you get a green digit, then placing that digit will make it unique. So green is kind of the special color. But anyway, so we've restricted this in an interesting way. But what we want to think about is like, what have we actually done here? Because again, the true candidates aren't something we should be directly using. They're just a nice way to kind of see how we've restricted the puzzle so far. So oftentimes I'll just turn it off and clear. And let's just, we notice it placed this 3. So that might be something we want to, that's just obvious. So that's a 3 that we get right away, right? So if I go into solve mode here, we know that this is 18. So to get to 21, that places the 3. So that we don't need any other logic to place the 3 there. Now that the 3 is placed, this can't be 2, 3, 4, and it can't be 1, 3, 5. So this is 1, 2, 6. And then that makes this 4, 5. So we've completely subverted our entire logic. So we do not want to do this, is the conclusion. Right, we wanted to do the logic of this column, and this row is just so much easier. That's what people are going to do first. So we don't want to do that. We can turn true candidates back on here. So this 4, 5 pair needs to be rewarded in a different way, probably by doing a vertical 1, 2, 6 here with a 9 cage. Now it doesn't have to exactly be 1, 2, 6, unfortunately. Let's see if there's other possibilities here. So this adding to 9. Okay, so if we put another 9 cage in here, it does tell us that this adds to 3 and that's a 6. So, I mean, again, our logic is kind of broken. What else can I do with this 4, 5 pair? That's interesting. I really hope there isn't another way around this, but anyway. So we know that the difference between these two cells is 3. So what do I want to do with this? I'm thinking about keeping this a pure killer, but we'll see. I could just add a second constraint. It might be interesting to work off of this 1, 2, because what we learned is that, okay, the difference between these is 3. This can't be 6, 3. So we eliminated 6 from here. And so then now this can't be 3. So it's down to 1, 2. And we could build off this 1, 2. So for example, we could introduce another, we could do a Ren band, like some kind of line constraint is what I'm thinking. Or we could do Kropke dots. We could do German whispers, because that's kind of interesting from a German whisper because we already know it's low. Ren band is interesting because it's already 1, 2. So a short Ren band is going to be low digits only. we could, let's see, what else seems interesting? Region sum lines are always interesting, combining sums. But maybe let's do the German Whisper idea, because we already know this is low. So, I mean, you just kind of, we're trying to get somewhere else in the grid. So if we do something like this, that gets us out. Now I could make this also a 1-2 by like maybe, just going somewhere else. Maybe I can keep going. I wonder if I should make this look like a 9. I don't know if I can, because 9s don't really have a something down in the bottom left. I could rotate the whole puzzle. So if I put this up here, the puzzle is entirely rotated, and then that can be part of my 9. Okay, yeah, might as well do that. Unfortunately, there isn't like an easy way to rotate the puzzle, but there's not much to draw here, so we just got to redraw it. Oh, right, so killer cage. So we just draw a 9 like this. We draw a 9 like this, and then we draw a 9 like that. Oh, no, that wasn't it. Why did that place a... What did we have? Did I go down the other way? Oh, yeah. Why did I have 2 empty here? So 3... Oh, it's not some... Oh, we can't just rotate 90 degrees, right? It's not a 9 by 9. It's not symmetric when rotated 90. So I'd have to rotate the boxes with it. I don't really want to do that. So yeah, I mean, we don't have to make it look like a 9 if we don't want to. So let's just go back to German Whispers here, and let's just get to somewhere else in the grid here. I'm actually thinking of doing something like this, because this can't be 3 then. It's down to 1, 2. Apparently making these 2s is very restrictive. It resolves quite a bit. They don't have to be the same digit as each other, but if this is a 2, that makes this a 2, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why yet, but maybe we don't need to use that at this moment. So all these true candidates right now, the kind of coloring is telling me is that making these 1s is very unrestricted. There'd still be quite a few solutions to the puzzle, and then making them 2s solves a bit of the puzzle. So what do we want to do now that we've extended? Like, I'm thinking this 1, 2, and then this 1, 2. Maybe we do something with the fact that that's low. We could overlap another cage with it, for example. So are we only doing 9 cages? I'm thinking about only doing 9 cages, but we'll see. So something like a 9 cage here, we're using the fact that this is 1, 2, and so then there have to be bigger digits up here. But unfortunately, 1, 2, 6 being an option for 9 cages makes it a little bit more difficult. A 9 cage across here might be interesting, because this can't be 4 now. Let's see, why can't it be 4 with a 9 cage there? So, okay, well, the first thing I was thinking about, without even thinking about that not being 4, is that a really cool property of 9 cages is they always need 2 low digits in them. So they always need 2 from 1, 2, 3. If you think about it, if you do only 1 from 1, 2, 3, the lowest you can do is 1, 4, 5, which adds to 10. So a 9 cage here, what we're observing is that we have 2 from 1, 2, 3. We know this one isn't the 1 from 1, 2, 3. In fact, German Whisper lines with a 9 cage make for an interesting feature there. Now, I think the issue is that a 4 would force a 1, but the only way to put a 4 in a 9 cage is to have 2, 3, 4. So that is the reason we can't do 4 now, because 4 on the German Whisper forces the 1. So that might be interesting. Taking 4 off of a German Whisper line isn't all that powerful, though. We could also make the 9 curve. That would bring a 1, 2, 3 somewhere else. Something like that. And then we could draw a new line off of that. And so now you have to realize that, hey, this is also going to be low. And so now when we do a German Whisper line off of that, we are starting low again. So we could start coloring lows and highs. That might be interesting. So these are low. These are high. Sorry, this is low. Now we need 1 low and 1 high here. We know these are both high for the 4, 5 pair. We know there's 2 lows here and a low high here. We don't know what order they go in. Let's see. So if I draw a German whisper line in a specific way, I could force a high here into like, so like a 9 cage, sorry, if I draw something like this, interesting, and that six makes it unique, which is kind of crazy. Those green digits will pop up in strange ways. So if we color now, we know this is orange and this is blue. And if I add something like a 9 cage right here, then that's high. So these would both have to be low, making them a 2-3 pair. And that's no good because that's going to break the puzzle. We're going to get all X's here. But I could do something like this, and that forces a lot more than I thought. But what I was going to say is that it forces both of these to be low. And that's enough. That's all the lows in this box that forces these to be high. We don't want to base off our digits. We want to base off our coloring at this point. So we know these two are low. And that's two lows in here. So this is a high. This is actually kind of interesting to be able to use the fact that there's two lows and a high in every 9. I think that's going to be interesting. This box needs 2 more lows. Low and a high here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much Sudoku. I could clear it all out and do Sudoku, which may actually be a thing to do. I don't know why I'm coloring those. I don't know that they're low yet. I mean, obviously there's some way to know, but we don't just use the true candidates and go, that's a deduction, because we don't know how that was deduced. We want to make sure our puzzle flows. So why don't we just worry about making this? Let's see. How would we continue the coloring from here? Is there, or maybe there's some way of determining. Okay, I think at this point what I want to do, let's clear out the colors and let's turn off true candidates and clear out. We'll go into solving mode and let's just see what we can solve at this point. So the first thing I always like to do, and you saw me do this earlier, is I like to ignore the break-in as long as possible and see what can be deduced without the break-in. So for example, this 9 cage here, we know that 1 is low, 1 is high. And if we know that a 9 cage needs 2 lows in it, that means this has to be low. And that makes this high and this low, and that makes these 2 low. So can we do more with that? We know this is one low, 1 high. So something we can do with like the fact that this 9 cage dips in here. So we know what the maximum this adds to is, which is 17. So the minimum this adds to is 4. That's not helpful. Okay, so it does look like we may have to use this logic here. So we know that this is 3 larger than this, meaning this has to be high and this has to be low. It's almost as if we've extended our German whisper line there virtually. If I extended the German whisper line there, the deduction doesn't change, which is kind of interesting. So it's like we have a 1 longer German whisper line. So this is high, and then we can also learn that this cannot be 6, because if it was 6, it makes this 3, but then this has to be exactly 3 lower, and it makes that 3 as well. So we know that this is a 4 or 5 pair, meaning that this is also high. We know this is high, we know this is low, and we know this is high. Okay. Oh, the rest of this box is high. We could have gotten that earlier. Rest of this row is low. That makes this high for the 9 cage, and it has to be a 6. And so that makes this a 1-2 pair. This is 1-2. It can't be 3 because it would be double 6 here. So these are from 4, 5, 6. You can't put a 4 here because a 4 would force a 1, and then that adds to 5, and then we need another 4. There just isn't a 9 combination with 4 and 1. So this is a 5, 6 only. These are from 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I want to mark that. Let's see. So we know this doesn't have a 6 in it. It's not 1, 2, 6. If it was 2, 3, 4, what would that mean? That would put a 1 here and a 5 here and a 2 here. That works great. And if this were 1, 3, 5, that puts a 2 here and a 4 here and a 1 here. That still works great. But I think we learned from true candidates 2, 3 where it doesn't work. But I don't know if I want to be fiddly like that right now. So is there any more I can learn? Yes, we know these are both low from 1, 2, 3, and they definitely contain a 3. That might be helpful. Is there something I can learn about these guys? These 9s are connected in some way, it seems like. So the true candidates found a lot more, but I'm not convinced that that's adventure level to discover that. So I don't think we're going to use that. We know there's two highs and a low up here. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to figure out what is kind of the most interesting logic of this that hasn't been built on. We have these pointing threes. I don't know if that's the most interesting logic, but removing 3 from a 9 cage actually forces the sum. So let's actually go back to true candidates here and see what our options are. Because we know these 3s point up. This is not going to be able to add to 9. So it's a 1, 4, 5 triple. Yeah, there's too much from the true candidates here. So basically what I have to do is I have to figure out a clue that'll actually work, but that I can build off of my kind of less filled grid. I'm honestly not sure how all these digits, where all these digits came from. There's probably one deduction I'm missing that fills a bunch of the grid, but since I don't see it immediately, I don't want to depend on using it. So we have this. We don't know that that's a 3, but I want to see like where can I actually place a 9 cage. Now I don't have like a feature for where can I put a 9 cage, but you can just start trying at places and see, what the effect is. I don't think that's gonna work. We know that we can make this 1, 2, 6 with a 3 there, but remember that's way too easy on this row. This can be a 2, 3, 4, but that doesn't tell us anything new. But sometimes a clue that's completely redundant with what true candidates tells you can actually give you more to do from your solve path. So let's see how much that helps us. So we have to go back to solve mode here. And I'm just going to, normally what I do is I'd actually have this open in Sudoku pad as well. And then like have 2 different solves just for the sake of ease here. I'm just going to fill out what we had. We're keeping the coloring that we already knew about. This is 1, 2, 3 with 3s pointing. I don't think we knew much more than this. But we have this new 9 cage here. So we know it has 2 lows and a high. Now we can't put 2 lows up here. That's not possible. Because that would be too many lows in the row. So we know this has to be low. Which means that this cage does not have a 6 in it. The high digit is a 4 or a 5. So it cannot be 1, 2, 6. So it is either 2, 3, 4, which we know that's what it is, or it's 1, 3, 5. So we could try to disprove 1, 3, 5, but I don't know that someone would think, oh, let's try to disprove 1, 3, 5 right now. Maybe if you notice that the 6 is here. Here's something we know. We know that there's a 4 or 5 pair up here. And we can't make this the 4 or 5 pair. So that makes this a 4 or 5. So it's high. And then that helps us with the column and the rest of the row. So this already did help us with our solve path. It gets us this 6. This is already cool. All right. We need a 4, 5 in here along with 2 lows. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. So we know that's not a 6 now. This is 4, 5. What else do I know about that? So 4, 5 means this can't be a 3. This is a 1, 2. We already knew that though. I didn't have that filled, but I had it filled earlier. Can I build off of this? Is there more to solve? Can this be 3, 6? The 1, 2 pair there? I don't actually remember what the true candidate said. Oh, we know there's a 3 here. We got a 1, 2 pair. So this is our 3. Ah, okay. And so in this box, the 3 is in one of these two. So yeah, we know this isn't 1, 2, 6. We knew it contained a 3 anyway. This isn't a 4. Oh, this could be a 4 with a double 1. In fact, I think that's what it ends up being. Let's see. Is there more that can be done here? What's cool about setting puzzles is kind of like solving a puzzle that's choose your own adventure. You try to solve as much as you can, but it's not unique. So you want to figure out what logic is possible and then reward the cool stuff. Threes. Sorry, this is taking a while because I'm not really sure how to finish this puzzle. So we either need to think more about this 9 cage or we need to build off what we just learned. So I can add another clue. I do need to add more clues to make the puzzle unique. So another German whisper line could help us with coloring for sure. I just learned about this 6. So I'm wondering if... Okay, I know for a fact that this is 2, 3, 4. I mean, we can't put a German whisper in more than one cell. I don't remember... So what I can do here, I can go to setting mode. I can turn on true candidates, turn it off. So it doesn't care. It doesn't know yet whether this is a 4. Okay, it hasn't distinguished them. So what I can do, then just undo. I can make this the 3. I can just extend this German whisper line one more. So by doing so, we have now made this low, and it should work, hopefully. Yeah, so we're almost done. We just have to resolve this 1, 5 up here. But let's see how far we get without the true candidates, obviously. So this now can't be 3. This is 1, 2. And this is our high, 4, 5. Okay. This is a 4, this is 2, 3. If this is a 5, then we need... sorry, we need them to add a 4. They need to be 1, 3. So this is always 3. Right. If this was a 1, 2 pair, then this would have to be a 6. And it can't be. So this is always a 3. Oops. DB solving mode here. And that places this 3. All right, we're getting digits. And again, normally I'd test solve in Sudoku pad, but I don't want to like... I'm worried about my capture, having to like switch back and forth. So we're just going to do it in here. And it's perfectly possible to do it in here. Let's see. So this one line should solve the whole puzzle except for a 1, 5 deadly pattern here, which we'll figure out a way to resolve. But let's see if we actually get that far or not, or we need more clues. So, right, we know this is an orange 4, 5 for the column. We know one of these is a 3. If this was a 3, this would be 6. If this was a 3, then we can no longer make this... Let's see, if that's a 3, that's a 1, 2. Oh, wait, hold on. This column needs a 3 as well. Oh, this is an interesting deduction. Is it? I mean, one of these two is definitely a 3. Meaning this can never be a 3. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting deduction. That places a 3 there. Oh, that's really cool. So this column needs a 3. It's going to be here or here. Both of these cells see this cell through the cage and through the box. So this has to be this cannot be 3, making this have to be a 3 for the column. And then now this has to be a 1, 2, 6, and the 3, 6 does work. And now this is a 1, 2. This is also a 3, sorry. So that ends up being 6, 3, 3. That's neat. So now this is 4, 5, making this a 6, which does not affect these two. This is a 6 for this box. Yeah, now we're making progress. This is neat. So I just need to finish the test solve, and then we should be able to just place something to finish the 1, 5 deadly pattern, and then we'll be good to publish. I just have to make sure this is extensible, but it is feeling pretty good here. So this is 1, 2, 4, 5. We don't know if the 1, 2... We don't know how the 1, 2s resolve yet. But we know that they do, so we need to figure out how that's happening. Oh, this 3 here. 2, 4, or 1, 5. I wonder. We can't do 2, 4. Right, we remember a long time ago we said this couldn't be 4. Because 4, 1 doesn't work. Yeah, so I just forgot that deduction. So that's 5. And now 3, 5 is 8, so that's a 1. That makes that a 2 and that a 1. That makes that a 2, that's 1, that's 2, that's 2, and 1. All right. We get the 4 and the 5 and the 4 here. Okay. So 2, 4, 5. I think we're doing well, but maybe it's this 9 cage now. Yeah, 2 is gone. So without 2, we can't be 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 6. So we have to be 1, 3, 5. That's not a 3. In fact, we know this is just 1, 4, 5. This isn't a 1. This isn't a 3. So the 3 is placed. So we know this is low. Yeah, and this 1, 5 is not going to get resolved. We know that that's still, the solution still isn't quite unique. This 4 looking up places the 4. This is now a 2, 5 pair. What else do we have here? 1 5 pair gives us the 4 and the 5. So that's not a 5. This is 1 4 5. That's not a 4. That's not a 1. Oh, this one looks up, making that a 4. So that's not 4. That makes that a 4. Yeah, and we're getting down to this 1 5 pair. I'm pretty sure. These are both high. So yeah, this can't be a 5. So that's 2 and 5. That's 2. These are both low. That's high. And then this is a 6. It's high. And we're down to this 1 5 that isn't resolved. So we just have to find somewhere to put something. We could put like a little German whisper line somewhere. Or we could, if there's a sum to 9, that would be neat. Maybe this summing to 9. We'd have to see how that affects the solve path, but it would be neat to end with a sum to 9. We could put it here. I think putting it here is less likely to cause problems than up here, because this is in the same box as this. So why don't we just stick it here? So it'll kill a cage. The sum, that's to 9. All right, we finished with a sum to 9. And so true candidate should tell us, yeah, that's good. All right. So I need to get rid of all of the highlights here. And we need to clear out. Actually, what we're going to do is, this is the solution. So we're going to go to Solution, Tools, Save Solution. And then we're going to clear out. And now we need a name. You know what? I think that it is fine to call this something with 9s or 900. Hundreds of 9s. It's not actually hundreds, but it's hundreds of 9s. Hundreds of 9s. I don't know, maybe just as an allusion to it being Sudoku Adventure 900. Let's just save that in there. How's that look? Hundreds of 9s. I mean, it is a lot of 9s. It's not hundreds of them, but how many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not 9 9s, so that's unfortunate. But all right, and I'm gonna pull up my the Sudoku Adventure. We have a specific way of wording the rules. So let me just copy paste from there. So we have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules. I like to hit confirm after each time, because if you actually click out, it cancels, which is really annoying. That's something that should be fixed, to be honest, in F puzzles. All right, and we've got killer cages. There we go, killer cages. And so now, can digits repeat? I mean, digits can't repeat in a cage, but are we? So we can get rid of this if given, because we give all the 9s. And then we do use the fact that digits don't repeat. So sometimes if they're all in the same row, column, box, like if we didn't have this one and this one, then we could omit digits can't repeat, because there's, they already couldn't repeat because of the box rules or Sudoku rules. But in this case, we do want digits can't repeat in a cage. And then we need the German whisper rules. German whisper. Where are you? Here we go. And then here we don't have to specify thinner or thicker, because there's only one kind of line. So just green lines in the grid. All right. Cool. Okay, so that is how we set it. Now we'll just do a test solve. Let me save this. So we're going to go to export. I'm going to copy the link here just in my own notes, just to let's see. Just save this off in my own notes here. So I don't lose that link. And then what we're going to do is we are going to open it in Sudoku Pad as well. Okay, now we'll do a Sudoku Pad solve of this. Here we go. So what I like to do again is pretend I don't see my intended break-in, see if there's a bypass, and if the bypass is fine. Like sometimes I'm fine with having a bypass too. I just want to see how the puzzle feels. So what catches my eye? I mean, it obviously catches my eye that we have a bunch of 9 cages over here. We also have these German whisper lines. I think it might be worth it to try to color these lines. So some instinct might be just green purple right at the start here, and see if that can extend us in any way. Okay, so let's ignore the fact that 9s have 2 lows for a second and see if we have anything just traditionally easy to think about here. I'm having trouble seeing anything. That's probably a good sign that we do need to use the logic I intended. We can't really extend this out. We don't know how this coloring connects to the green-purple coloring. Okay, so what we can do is we can say, well, we know that a 9 cage has 2 lows in it. So we know that this is a low and a high, so this is going to be low, and that makes this high and this low. All right, and now that we have a high in this 9 cage, the remaining 2 are low. So we have all of our lows. We know one of these 2 is a low, and we have 2 lows in here. So these are both going to be high. I don't think we have connected our greens with the real low highs yet, green, purple, but we're working on it. Let's see, what else can I do? We know this 9 cage has at least 1 high in it. It could have 2 highs in it, or it could be a low and a high. If it's 4, 5, it's 2 highs. If it's 3, 6, it's a low and a high. This has 2 lows in it. So we know there's a low in here, at least 1. Don't know what to do with that. Okay. So I think we are forced to think about something else here other than low-high coloring. We can also think about 3s and 4s on these lines. So, for example, this can't be 3 or 4. This is 1, 2, 5, 6 because it's surrounded by 2 cells in the same row. But that's actually the only one that we can do that for. So that's probably not it. Does 1, 2, 5, 6 mean anything for a 9 cage? Not really. It could be 1, 2, 6. I mean, just having a 1 here gives us 2 of the options. Having a 2 here gives us 2 of the options. Like, it's fine. Yeah, so let's see, 2 purples in this row. Can I do anything about that? If they were high, it would finish the highs. And these would both be low, but I don't know that they're both high. Okay, so I think we do have to use my break-in eventually. So we want to look at this column. And what we can see is that this adds to 9, which means this adds to 12. But this adds to 9. So the difference between these two is 3, because the sum of 9 versus the sum of 12 is a 3 difference, meaning this has to be exactly 3 bigger than this. So it's as if our German whisper line was extended and we had an exact difference of 3 instead of at least 3. So this has to be high and this has to be low. And then that makes purple highs and that makes greens lows. And that does allow us to continue. These are both low. That makes this high because we know there's 2 lows and a high in every 9 cage. We haven't even put a value in here for yet, even though we know we can. 3 lows here. These are gonna be high. Let's see. Can we continue the coloring, or do we need to actually look at more logic here? I think we might need more logic at this point. I'm not sure. Oh, we know this is 1 or 2 now because of it's low. This digit cannot be a 4 because this would be 1 and 4 plus 1 is 5. That would have to be another 4 and it has to be low actually. So this is 5 or 6. So no 4 in this means not 2, 3, 4, meaning there has to be a 1 in it. So this is 2 or 3. If this was a 3, this would be 5 and 1. That seems fine. If this is 1 or 2, then that's a 6. Okay. So I think we might need to find digits elsewhere. I'm not immediately seeing a way forward. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to think about this a bit more. So we know this is exactly 3 different. And so if we think about that, if we fill this out, this being 6 is a problem because the 9 cage would finish with a 3, but then this needs to be exactly 3 different, making that also a 3. So the conclusion is that this is not a 6, meaning that this is not a 3, and also meaning that this has to be a 4 or 5 pair to add to 9. So that's all of our highs for the box as well as for the row. Oops. And so now this has to be high because of the 9 cage. Oh, the rest of the box is just high. All right. So we have a 4 or 5 pair here. That gives us 6, which gives us 5. 5 goes with 1, 3. So that's 1, that's 3, that's 2. This has to be 4. So this is a 5 or a 6. So this can't be, we didn't want that to be anything. 3 actually has to go with 6. Sorry, so that's a 1. That gives us 2. That gives us 1. This is solving very nicely now. This is a 4 or 5 pair. That's 6, obviously. We've had that for a bit. This is a 2, 3 pair. We actually know the order, 3 and 2. So down here we need a, this sees 1 and 2. So this is a 3 and this is a 1. So I don't think I had to use that weird logic I had earlier. We kind of subverted it, which is fine. It was neat, but not necessary. This sees 5 and 6. That's 4, 5, and 4. This is 6. I did know that there was a lot more logic that could be done even without this 9 cage, so maybe I found it. That's 3. This is now, oh, we get a 3 in the corner, which I didn't realize, but that's nice. We get a 2, 5 pair here. The 9 cage can't have the 1 in it, so the 1 in this column has to go there. That's kind of neat. We didn't have the 9 cage in our test solve. In fact, the 9 cage can't be 3, 6, so it's 4, 5. We know it's high. That's our 6. So we used it, but it didn't really subvert anything. That's a 2, 3 pair. I wonder if I could have used the fact that 3 is the minimum digit in that 9 cage. I don't know. If there is a way to use it, then glory to you. 2, 3, 6. This is 1, 4, 5. That's not a 1. I probably have to think about this cage. Let's see. Is there anything more to do here? We can place the 6 here by Sudoku. These 6s look in. This is 2 or 5. Oh, we know what this is. This is a 2. That's 3. I was ignoring this 9 cage. We get the 5 here. That gives us 4 and 5. That gives us 4 and 1. That gives us 4 and 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. We need a 3 here. That is the 2 and the 5. And I haven't finished calling, but that's okay. We need a 2 here. All right. So that is our solution. Nice. And it was the correct solution. Cool. I think that that's decently adventure level. It's got kind of one step that forces you to think, but it's actually a step that relates really nicely with the German Whisper, the other constraint that we decided to go with. And the coloring flows really nicely. I think this turned out to be a pretty neat puzzle, especially for one set live quickly. So yeah, let me know what you thought of it and whether this has inspired you to try to make your own puzzle. That would be neat. And of course, if you've been enjoying this series or you enjoyed this video specifically, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.